morning. I am Will Smith, the Chief Financial Officer for the Detroit Riverfront Conservancy. Thank you for joining us on this special day. Welcome to those of you who are today with us in person and those of you that are with us on Zoom and Facebook Live. Due to the pandemic, this press conference looks a little different than the press conferences that we've done before. We wish you a great day, and we wish that you all could be here with us. But it is very important, as we have done in past press conferences, to celebrate important milestones, such as the opening of Robert C. Villay Park in 2019, as well as Mount Elliott Park right here in 2014. I've been with the Conservancy pretty much since the very beginning. So on a personal level, this press conference means so much to me. I've dreamed of the Riverwalk along this stretch for a long time. To kick us off, I'd like to share a short video about this project.
We always wanted the Riverwalk to connect to Belle Isle. That's been the plan since day one.
The whole community came together to transform the East Riverfront. The Uniroyal connection is the final piece of that original vision.
Everybody knows about the Uniroyal site. Thousands of people worked here. It was a city inside the city. The tire factory shut down in 1978. It's now time for this property to start working for the people of Detroit again.
Projects like the Riverwalk only happen when people come together around a shared vision. We started 20 years ago with the Kresge Foundation, General Motors, and the City of Detroit.
MDOT has been working with the Detroit Riverfront Conservancy since 2010 when we began plans for Mount Elliott Park. Everyone who works on the riverfront falls in love with it. Moving people and goods is our mission, so connecting this great public space for pedestrians is a legacy project for MDOT.
The revitalization of the Detroit riverfront will be remembered for generations as one of Detroit's greatest success stories. The community wanted a riverfront that they could be proud of. That's when major funders like the Community Foundation for Southeast Michigan and others began working with business leaders to make the dream a reality. And those same early supporters, and more like them, are still involved with the project today.
This project is being led by the Detroit Riverfront Conservancy, the City of Detroit, MDOT, and the Environmental Protection Agency. And it would not have been possible without Senator Carl Levin, who brought $40 million of federal funding for the riverfront.
This is a complicated site to work on, but we've been making progress for over 10 years, and we're ready for the Riverwalk.
The work starts now.
People have fallen in love with the Detroit Riverfront. It's where we all come together as a community. It's a really special place for Detroiters.
Detroit loves the riverfront, Detroit loves Belle Isle, and we are finally going to connect these two special places.
Projects like this can change a city forever.
This section of the Riverwalk will help bring the Uniroyal site back to life.
It's important to finish what you've started. We said we would connect the riverfront to Belle Isle, and that's what we're doing.
People who love the Detroit Riverfront now are going to love it even more when we get this project done.
Amazing video. Today we celebrate the official groundbreaking of the Riverwalk extension at Uniroyal. This Riverwalk expansion not only connects two great parks, but it also connects us to access to Belle Isle. Mount Elliott Park, where we are today, is one of the most popular parks. If you come down here on a warm, sunny day, you'll see children laughing, you'll see families enjoying, but for many people, this park is essentially the end of the Riverwalk. Some people may not even know about Gabriel Richard, which is right on the other side of the Belle Isle Bridge, because it's disconnected from the rest of the Riverwalk. Gabriel Richard Park is a very popular park among fishermen and folks that are looking to get away and have some quiet time. And on the other end of the picturesque bridge behind us lies Belle Isle, 900 acres of pure beauty. It's been a popular destination for generations of us Detroiters. Give us a year, and they'll all be better connected. Those of us at the Conservancy are proud what we've all accomplished. We couldn't have achieved any of these successes without partnerships. Those public-private partnerships have been integral to the transformation of the Detroit Riverfront. Several of our partners are here today to celebrate with us, and you'll hear from them shortly. But I'd first like to introduce the chairman of our board, my guy, Mr. Matt Cullen.
Thank you, Will. Good morning, everybody. Great to be with you all. Appreciate everybody coming. I apologize for the logistics for those in back, but appreciate you being here as we celebrate this great day. Let me begin by acknowledging the fellow speakers here today. This couldn't have happened, wouldn't have happened without the leadership of our elected officials as well as the business and philanthropic community all represented. So appreciate you being here. Good to see as I came in, lots of familiar faces and old friends. As Will said, normally we would have 500 people here, but nonetheless, a lot of our good friends are here, and it's not surprising, I guess, because it's been 20 years that we've been working on this project, which is kind of a long time, and that it came into perspective for me because my oldest son is now 25 years old, and when he first came to the riverfront, it was a bring your kid to work day kind of thing, and I brought him down, and he was drawing pictures of these mythical creatures on a carousel, and he was working with Karen DePerry and Faye Nelson, and we go back that far, and I think all of us that have been involved in the project have those kinds of memories, which is why it's great to be able to celebrate together. And certainly, it's a big day for us. A big day for the entire community. As Will said, this connection across the Uniroyal site allows us now to come from the Renaissance Center, Eastern Market, all the way to Belle Isle. It's a final link in a system of trails along the riverfront that has and will improve the quality of life for Detroiters. It's been our vision since we launched the Conservancy 20 years ago. We promised that we would connect the East Riverfront when we started, and I'm very proud to be standing here in front of you today saying that we've kept that promise. It was a bold vision, certainly. It took a leap of faith probably for people to believe that it would come to pass because it had been talked about many times before that, but we persevered. We dreamed big, we worked hard, and here we are today, where a desolate, underutilized part of our city has been transformed into a beautiful system of parks, plazas, and trails. Cement silos were up and down the riverfront. Abandoned factories have been made into playgrounds for families to make lifelong memories. And our community members are coming together in a healthy and beautiful environment. As Will mentioned, it wouldn't happen without partners. Our founding partners that helped launch this organization, the City of Detroit, General Motors, and the Kresge Foundation, are still with us in supporting the project, and for that we're very appreciative. First, I'd like to touch on the City of Detroit, which obviously have been an active role in this work since day one. The city took the lead in relocating the cement companies and tearing down the abandoned buildings that littered the riverfront. They built and rebuilt all of the sidewalks and roads in the riverfront district, and just recently opened the Joseph Campo Greenway, which provides a direct connection to the riverfront for residents on the east side. The final connection on the riverfront is being built on property owned by the City of Detroit. We tried for many, many years to gain access to the property. For one reason or another, it didn't happen. It's happening now because of Mayor Duggan's leadership. It's because of his commitment to public access to the riverfront that we're able to tear down this fence and finally get our connection to Belle Isle. So, Mayor Duggan, thank you and your entire team for all that you've done in that regard. It's incredibly appreciated, and it's been the difference for us. And congratulations in advance on the big groundbreaking you have next week on Joe Louis Greenway. So we're going to continue to build on the momentum that's taken place in the city. The Riverwalk would not exist without the remarkable vision and investment of General Motors. When GM bought the Renaissance Center 25 years ago, which is, again, hard to believe, they wanted to open it up to the public and make it more welcoming. It was that commitment that resulted in GM tearing down the berms and investing in the Winter Garden and GM Plaza. Their subsequent decision to construct the first half mile of Riverwalk and contribute it to a fledgling conservancy is one of the main reasons that we are here today. It was a remarkable act of leadership for a global public corporation, and the people of Detroit owe GM a big debt of gratitude. Thank you to Terry Radigan, who's here with us today, and the entire GM team for making the work possible. Leaders like Jack Smith, Harry Pierce, Rick Wagner, and certainly Mary Barra, together with stalwarts Karen DePerry, John Blanchard, Deb Homick, and Claudia Killeen, have all played key roles over the years. Last but certainly not least is the Kresge Foundation, which pledged $50 million to the transformation of the Detroit Riverfront. They were the catalyst for the project that has now stimulated over $2 billion in investment all along the riverfront and attracts more than 3 million visitors a year. This was the largest gift in the history of the Kresge Foundation, and it seems unlikely to me that they will ever make one that's more impactful. Kresge leaders like Rip Rapson, Rod Manila, John Marshall, Laura Trudeau, Bob Larson, and David Page have contributed immeasurably to this project over the years. So those three partners represent the foundation of the public-private partnership that created the Riverfront Conservancy, but we wouldn't be standing here today celebrating the 20 years of accomplishments without the help of many friends and partners. There's way too many to mention them all, but there are a few that I need to call out, and if I miss any, I really do apologize. First, my fellow board members. Over the years, we've had a very broad and diverse board that brings talent and passion to everything they do. Great folks, absolutely committed to the mission. A lot of them are here today. Thank you for all that you've done. An amazing Conservancy team. It wouldn't happen without them, obviously, made up of rock stars from top to bottom, led by my great friends. Yeah, that requires a round of applause. Go ahead, do that. And led by friends Will Smith and Mark Wallace. Our founding CEO, Faye Nelson, Miriam Nolan and the Community Foundation, the Davidson Foundation, the Valade family, the Michigan Department of Transportation, the Department of Natural Resources have been incredible partners. The Wilson Foundation, Hudson Weber, and the Davidson Foundation, many, many more. It does indeed take a village to get a project like this over the finish line. Final shout out to Senator Carl Levin. Senator Levin's been an incredible partner of ours from the beginning. He kind of worked hard on the Bates outflow, bringing the East and West Riverfront together, and as mentioned in the video, helped us in securing $40 million of federal funds that has allowed us to take on this project and many others. 20 years ago, we embarked on this project together. Over the course of the years since, we weathered many challenges, including the Great Recession, financial struggles on the part of many of our partners, a global pandemic, and many more. And yet earlier this year, the Riverwalk was named, our Riverwalk was named the best Riverwalk in the country. And we literally have gone from worst to first. And it's just, it's incredible. We're incredibly proud of it, and we're excited because we know that the best is yet to come. So thank you all for joining us on this historic day. And let me throw it back to Will Smith.
Thank you, Matt, and thank you for your continued leadership and mentorship throughout the 15 years that I've been with the Conservancy. We are so thrilled with the best Riverwalk designation. In my best DJ Khaled voice, we the best. It's quite an honor. In addition to the business and philanthropic communities, the Conservancy has enjoyed wonderful support from our federal, state, and local partners. It's one of the projects that stretches across political lines because we can all agree that a transformed and energized riverfront is good for everyone. Senator Debbie Stabenow is in Washington, D.C. right now and not able to join us. But Terry Campbell, the regional manager for the Senator's office, is with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, Terry Campbell.
Good morning, everyone. I bring you greetings from the Senator. She is minding the shop in D.C., so I have the pleasure of being here with you on the water this morning on a pure Detroit day. How beautiful. I don't know who ordered the weather, but thank you very much. Our office is thrilled to be part of the groundbreaking on this important last piece of the East Riverfront Parkway, the best walkway riverfront in the country, and it's about to get better. We're so excited to say goodbye to the Uniroyal site and hello to the Riverwalk. This has been a long time coming, and we offer a heartfelt thank you to Will, Matt, Mark, all of the partners that have been involved in transforming this lovely jewel of a Riverwalk. You folks have been at it for decades. We appreciate your hard work, your dedication. We love what you've done. We can't wait for this final piece to be complete. We know it's going to be fantastic, and we just want to say thank you very much.
Thanks, Terry. Senator Gary Peters is also in D.C. today and unable to join us. But representing Senator Peters is my friend Corey Woodford, the Detroit Regional Director for his office. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Corey Woodford.
Good morning once again, everyone. It is so exciting to see this expansion come to life. And previously it was mentioned that our Senate predecessor, Carl Levin, had the vision to see what we are standing on right now here today. And I'm so glad that Senator Peters and our office and our Senate team is able to take the torch now and run with it and be a great supporter of not only the Riverwalk, but the Riverfront Conservancy as a whole organization. As we talk about infrastructure in the Senate and in federal government, here is a prime example of what infrastructure and how it works. And we're glad to be able to point to projects like this when that conversation does come about in the United States Senate. Public partnerships work when the public in the community and federal government all come together. This is what can happen. Great things can happen, all for the good of the people, and most of all, good for the city of Detroit. So I thank you once again for inviting us on behalf of U.S. Senator Peters. Thank you once again, and we look forward to coming back to the ribbon cutting ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. Next, we have Jackie Elliott, District Director representing Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence, who is also in D.C. today. Jackie, please say a few words on behalf of the Congresswoman this morning. Thanks.
Good morning. Good morning. On behalf of Congresswoman Lawrence, I would like to say thank you all for being here. She is a little upset she couldn't be here, but she's taking care of business in D.C. She also wanted to make sure everybody knew her love for Detroit, the Riverwalk. She comes down here quite frequently and is very excited to be a part of this expansion. Our office is happy to partner with the River Conservancy, the City of Detroit, and all the rest of the partners. And again, thank you all so much for being here today and being a part of this wonderful expansion. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Unfortunately, Detroit Conservancy board member and good friend of mine, Lieutenant Governor of Michigan, Garland Gilchrist, is unable to join us because he's presiding over a Senate session today. But we are pleased to have a great partner, Dan Eichinger, Director of the Michigan Department of Natural Resources, representing the Governor's Office and the state of Michigan this morning. Dan is one of our awesome board members. Welcome, Dan.
Thank you, Will. Good morning, everyone. As Will said, my name's Dan Eichinger. I'm the Director of the Michigan Department of Natural Resources, here humbly on behalf of my friend and our Lieutenant Governor, Garland Gilchrist, who drew the short straw today and has to preside over Senate session. I think I've probably got the best job in state government as the Director of the Department of Natural Resources, and one of the best parts of my job is that I get to serve alongside so many of my friends and colleagues here gathered today and on the Zoom screen as a Detroit Riverfront Conservancy board member. One of the things that we learned last year through a very, very difficult year is that people were seeking and needing a connection to nature at a frequency and intensity that we haven't seen in an awfully long time. And I'm so proud and humbled and honored to be here on behalf of the Governor, the Lieutenant Governor, the women and men of the Department of Natural Resources, to join all of you in our shared mission to ensure that these places are open, they're welcoming, accessible, and with what we're going to do today, connected for all of our residents when our residents need them the most. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dan. Matt mentioned earlier how integral the City of Detroit partnership has been to the success of the Riverfront revitalization. The city was one of our launching partners and with each administration since our founding, we have enjoyed a very positive relationship with the city. However, with Mayor Michael Duggan and his administration, that relationship has grown even stronger, and together we are doing some truly exciting things in the city of Detroit. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce the Mayor of the city of Detroit, Michael Duggan.
Well, good morning. 20 years ago, the Detroit Riverfront was owned by vacant industrial buildings and private developers. Today, it's owned by the people of the city of Detroit. This has become the place where Detroit comes together. People of all ages, all incomes, all background. It is now Detroit's gathering place. And I think about the years I would go to Chicago and be so envious of the way that great city had a beautiful riverfront available to its residents, thinking, why can't we have that in Detroit? And in a very short period of time, to have gone from that to be named USA Today's #1 Riverwalk in the country, and that's before this important strip got built. So to Matt Cullen, who has been the driving factor from the beginning, to GM and Kresge that got us started, the Riverfront Conservancy and Mark Wallace and Will Smith, and that whole team, that sustained vision, this is going to be a huge step forward to the vision that we all have, that one day you're going to be able to walk from bridge to bridge in this city, enjoying the entire length of the Detroit Riverfront. Congratulations to everybody who made this possible.
Thank you, Mayor Duggan, and thank you as well as for your leadership. It is truly an exciting time in Detroit right now. In addition to having a mayor and administration that is perhaps as solid and as visionary as it has ever been in the history of our great city, we also are fortunate enough to have a city council that is comprised of members who are inspired, selfless, and dedicated to serving the residents of the city of Detroit. Mary Sheffield, President Pro Tem, could not be here today to join us, but we thank you as part of being a part of the Detroit Riverfront Conservancy Board, and we thank the City Council for all that you do for the residents of the city and the Detroit Riverfront Conservancy. Thank you. Next, I'd like to introduce Mr. Mark Wilder, the President and CEO of Detroit Riverfront Conservancy. However, before I turn over the microphone and allow him to say a few words, let me say a few words about Mark. Mark is a tremendous leader of our organization. He is a man with a vision, a man on a mission. I'm proud to call him my colleague, my partner, and my friend. He is dedicated to this project and to making the Detroit Riverfront the best it can be. And I speak on behalf of all of us at the Conservancy when I say we are lucky to have him leading the way. Ladies and gentlemen, President and CEO Mark Wallace.
Thank you, Will, and good morning, everyone. This is really a great day, and I hope you're all excited about the work that's starting here. It's a great reminder of what we can accomplish when we work together as a community. Matt mentioned early on in this project his son was up in the Rensen with crayons drawing what would become the creatures for the carousel on Cullen Plaza. And something dawned on me last week as I was walking around Cullen Plaza. I saw 2 kids down there dressed up in their graduation uniforms or cap and gowns. And they were taking graduation photographs. And as they stood there, I realized something. The kids who are graduating from high school today have no memory of cement factories on the Detroit Riverfront. They don't remember the piles of rubble. They don't remember the broken up streets. The riverfront has always been here for them. When they think about the riverfront, they think about concerts that they saw at River Days. They think about splashing around in the GM fountain when they were kids. They think about boat rides on the Diamond Jack or learning how to ride their bikes on the DeQuinder Cut. We celebrate moments like this one when construction starts because it is important to transform our riverfront, and as Matt said, it's important to finish what we started. But as an organization, the Detroit Riverfront Conservancy is focused on much more than just construction. We are changing the way people in Detroit spend time together, and we're changing the way that people in Detroit interact with each other because of that. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing right here on the riverfront. This project is about creating a place where people can make memories. It's about building something that's bigger than any one of us could do on our own. And it's about making a Detroit that's so exciting that the kids who are graduating from high school this year, the kids who don't remember those cement factories, will be proud to be from Detroit and will want to live here for the rest of their lives. I love real estate projects. I'm an old real estate guy, and I'm grateful to all the professionals who came together to make this work move forward, because it is a very complicated project. People like Ray Scott, who've been working on cleaning up this Uniroyal site for over 10 years. Will Smith, who you've heard from today, has been pushing to make this final connection since he started in 2003. Robert Davis, one of the unsung heroes here in Detroit with MDOT, who put his A-team on this project and has delivered for us on $40 million worth of work along the riverfront. I'd also like to thank the Kresge Foundation, Rip Rapson, for their visionary investment in this work. The $50 million that Kresge invested in the East Riverfront has inspired another $110 million of investment from foundations, corporations, and individuals. And people throw around the word visionary quite often these days, but when the Kresge Foundation came down here and got their shoes dirty on the Detroit riverfront at the edge of this river, you really had to have some imagination to think about what this place could become for our community, and that's true vision. I'd also like to join Matt in thanking General Motors for the love they've shown the Detroit riverfront through these investments. GM built the first phase of the Riverwalk, and that work inspired 8 other property owners to come together to build the system of parks and trails that we call the Detroit Riverwalk today. And every year since then, GM has supported us with board leadership, with financial resources, with office space, and with people like Karen Slaughter-Duperry, another one of the heroes of the Detroit Riverfront story. GM truly looked beyond their own interests, and the work they started has turned into a tremendous gift for the people of Detroit. I also want to thank Mayor Duggan and the City of Detroit for making this happen. 4 years ago, Mayor, we sat in your conference room with leadership from City Planning Department, the DEGC, and the Riverfront Conservancy, and we reported out on the East Riverfront Framework Plan. We'd spent over a year talking to community members, and they had several clear requests. They wanted it to be a little bit easier to cross Jefferson Avenue. They wanted to have a family-friendly park next to the Aretha Franklin Amphitheater. They wanted to make it easier for East Side residents to get to the riverfront by fixing up that trail Matt mentioned that goes through the Ralph Bunche homes. And they wanted us, most importantly, to build this final connection of the East Riverfront as soon as possible so that they could walk on the Riverwalk all the way to Belle Isle. Mayor Duggan's team has made all of these things happen in just 4 years, and we are incredibly grateful for that leadership. Finally, I'd like to thank our founding CEO, Faye Nelson, for the countless years she spent on this work. I'd like to thank the Ralph C. Wilson Jr. Foundation for their investments in the West Riverfront and trail connections. You'll be hearing a lot more about the investments of Ralph Wilson later on this year. I'd like to thank Darren McKeever and the William Davidson Foundation, who are here with us today. William Davidson has been one of our earliest and most supportive investors in this work since we started. And this amazing, unstoppable team. I'd like to thank Mac McCracken and his whole operations team for keeping the riverfront open throughout the pandemic. Our project managers from Jones Lang LaSalle and the Means Group, Rhonda Collins, Daryl Greer. Our Chief Development Officer, Cassie Brensky, who has been helping us to raise the funds we need to make these projects happen. And our number one volunteer and board chair, Matt Cullen, who has put in truly countless hours to move this project forward. I know it's a labor of love, Matt, but we really appreciate everything you do for us. Thank you again for being here today and celebrating with us.
Thank you, Mark. We appreciate all your passion and all your leadership. The Michigan Department of Transportation has been one of our most valued, trusted, and strategic partners during this riverfront revitalization. Over the years, they've activated millions of dollars to help pay for this project. In addition to the Uniroyal Riverwalk extension, we work with them at Valet Park, parcels east and west of the Aretha Franklin Amphitheater, the West Riverfront extensions, and here at Mount Elliott Park. Now we're getting close to completing our vision along the riverfront, but we still have 2 miles on the West Riverfront. So I'm hoping, but I know it's not going to happen, that I can continue working with my next guest. But he's retiring, so congratulations. I've had the privilege to work very closely with Robert Davis for over 15 years now, and I'm pleased that he is joining us today. Please allow me to introduce Robert Davis, Senior Advisor for the Michigan Department of Transportation.
Thank you, Will. I appreciate that that comment in particular, because Will has been a constant and consistent voice that reminds me from time to time of one particular thing that I want to share with you today. I was going through my files the other day, just on Monday, and I found a memo from 2005. And it was the announcement that Senator Levin and Senator Stabenow announced transportation funding. And that bill, the money that you've been talking about. And what's really interesting, Matt, is in 2011, the president then, Obama, and the entire legislature decided to eliminate earmarks or stop doing earmarks. We have not had any earmarks since 2011. But also, important to note in that is they could at any time remove those. Will would call me. I had 3 strategic calls from Will. Robert, protect this earmark. Unfortunately, we had a person named Julie Edwards that sat in the corner, and her job was to, from time to time, move that earmark back into the tip, back into the SIP, and then protect it that it wouldn't go away from 2005. I mean, so think about that. So it is, on this day, we're really pleased to announce that not only was the earmark protected, but 100% of those funds, as Will has said to me, were spent on this Riverwalk. And so that is a proud accomplishment that we celebrate today with you. So I can eliminate a lot of this because you've already mentioned the parks that are connected. But when you think about it, Mount Elliott, Shane, Milliken, Riverwalk Valet Park, and soon the Ralph Wilson Park, all of those destination places will be now connected because of the work of the Conservancy. So we want to thank you on behalf of all of the guests that use that. I also need to thank the Federal Highway Administration. I want to thank Mark Sweeney in particular, Kerry Warren, and Shelley Navoyski, who served as our project managers on this. And they have been very, very active and busy in making that happen. Dave Dortman, who did a lot of the environmental work. Steve Nadeau, who was a counsel to the Detroit Conservancy. Greg Mack, who was our lead engineer. Bahim and Sean Kelly, who I believe is in the audience today. And the Detroit Planning Department, and the Michael Devine, who you will see some of the design work and ideas that will come out as you walk the trail in a couple of months. And also Dan's Excavating. Dan's Excavating is building this, as you see one of the cranes there. They are doing a big job in Oakland County, about $700 million worth of work for us. And this project here, they're giving us the same level of commitment and teamwork on this project as they are the one in Oakland County. So I'm pleased. We're very happy with Dan's doing this particular work. So when you really think about this vision, what it really means, in a few years, you'll be able to walk from Belle Isle to the Gordie Howe International Bridge, walk across the bridge onto a trail system in Canada. That is now going to happen. It's in reach right now, and we're very proud to say that. So, Will, you've kept the pressure on us. Mark, you've kept the pressure on us, and we appreciate the fact that this collaborative has really worked, and we celebrate today. We applaud your efforts, and we thank each and every one of you for being a part of this great experience here in the city of Detroit. Thank you very much.
Robert, thanks again for your continued leadership and partnership. It's been a great ride, and enjoy your retirement. The work you see taking place right now on the river's edge could not have been done without the support of our next partner. Last year, the Conservancy and the EPA partnered on a $2.9 million cleanup, a portion of contaminated sediment along this stretch of the Detroit River. The project remediated approximately 1 acre of contaminated sediment by placing an environmental cap on top of it. That allowed us to begin work on the river's edge, which you see now. We're also working with the EPA on a cleanup along the West Riverfront as well. That project starts later this year. Joining us today from the EPA is Chris Kresge, Director of the Great Lakes National Program Office.
Hello, everyone. everyone, and what a delight it is to be here on this incredible day. Thank you, Will, for explaining. Did a better job of what I was going to do to explain, well, why is EPA even here? But again, you'd think, well, how hard can it be to construct an extension of a Riverwalk? Not easy, you know, let alone all the property issues and the ownership issues and the construction issues. Again, we've got legacy issues here. Legacy from the day when this was a heavily industrialized area. And all that contamination, or a lot of that contamination, it's still with us and it needs to be addressed. So we were delighted to be able to work with the Conservancy and figure out how do we basically allow this work to go forward without disturbing that contaminated sediment and putting it back into the water column. Well, you isolate it so that that work can go forward. Now, as was mentioned, this was about a 2.9 million project. We put in 1.8, the Conservancy and all its partners. Thank you so much for the 1.1 that allowed that work to finish. And it was also mentioned, oh, we're not done yet here in Detroit. We're doing the work on the other end. But by the time we're done with all the legacy, what we call legacy work in Detroit, dealing with thousands of cubic yards of contaminated sediment, we're going to be into the city of Detroit in terms of delivering a clean environment to the city of Detroit to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars, which we're very excited about. I love to get out of the office. I love to come out and see where work is really being done. And as we've heard from so many speakers today, I think this and what you're going to see happen here after the work is done and after the ribbon cutting, it proves sort of the whole reason I do this work. If you clean it, they will come. You will bring people back to the riverfront. They will fish. Once you bring the people, what else are you going to bring? Maybe businesses are going to come down and start up. Maybe microbreweries, maybe whatever. But you take what is now this and you turn it into something productive and something that truly does belong to the citizens. Environmental and economic development, they go hand in hand. This is going to be a perfect example of that. And again, we're so pleased to be here. Thanks for having me today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for helping clean up the Detroit Riverfront. I'd now like to talk about General Motors. As Matt mentioned earlier, GM is one of our launching partners. They've been with us since the very, very beginning. Their commitment to not only the riverfront but to the city of Detroit is inspiring. They've made improvements to the rent stand and opened it up to the community. They support numerous organizations and causes throughout the community. They provide jobs, security to thousands of employees. In addition to donating the first half mile of Riverwalk to the Conservancy, they sponsored our River Day celebrations for many years. They also support our literacy program. Our next speaker is going to talk a little bit more about the latest example of GM's generous support. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce Terry Radigan, Executive Director, Communications and Citizenship for General Motors.
Thank you, Will. Thank you very much. It's an honor to share the podium with so many distinguished guests. And it's great to see you again, Matt and Mark. Congratulations on this momentous occasion, not just for you, but for your entire team and all your partners. You know, Matt mentioned 25 years that GM has been in the RenCen. In fact, it was May 16th of 1996, almost 25 years to the day, that Mayor Archer and our Vice Chairman Harry Pierce held a press conference up in the Argonaut building to announce that we had purchased that building. And by the end of that year, in November of that year, I was proud to be one of the first 30 or so people to move into the building, into Tower 300. And I've spent the last 25 years of my life in Tower 300, which is great. But that gave us all, my colleagues and I, a perfect seat to see what was happening. We saw the silos that Matt mentioned and some of the warehouses that were abandoned, and we imagined the possibilities. Just think. Well, it takes more than just imagining. It takes doing, and that's what the Riverfront Conservancy has done with all of their partners. So we're just so delighted. This is a huge source of pride for the General Motors family, and I'm here representing all of them, including Mary Barra and Mark Royce. when I say thank you to the Riverfront Conservancy, thank you to all the partners. We don't view this as a donation. We view this as an investment. And like any great investment, the dividends are huge. And it's dividends for the citizens of the city of Detroit. It's dividends in the form of visitors, more visitors and more things to do in the city, and for those of us that work in the city. So not only have I had, excuse me, the bird's eye view of watching all the activity, but also when I see that reading and rhythm on the riverfront is happening, I can walk down here. If I want to go to the Cullen family carousel, we can walk down there. So it's terrific. It's a source of pride, as I mentioned, and so that's why General Motors is proud to invest another $2.5 million into this project so we can finish what we started. Thank you very much. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you, Terry, and thank General Motors for all of your continued support. Last but certainly not least is the Kresge Foundation. The Kresge Foundation rounds out the trio of launching partners. Back before the Conservancy launched, the Kresge Foundation was looking to make a significant impact in the city. They found a project in the revitalization of the Detroit Riverfront. They responded in a tremendous and generous way with a $50 million gift to the Conservancy. The gift allowed the Conservancy to hit the ground running, and we never looked back. Rip Rapson, president of the Kresge Foundation, is unable to join us today. He did provide a statement that I would like to read for us today. Change begins with impatience, but it comes to fruition only with persistence. We're seeing that today as the Detroit Riverfront Conservancy breaks ground on the Uniroyal site, which will allow walkers, runners, cyclists, and everyone in between to travel all the way to Belle Isle, the city's jewel of an island park, without setting foot on a major thoroughfare. It will connect one of the iconic symbols of Detroit's hard route resurgence in this century to one of the bright, enduring legacies of centuries past. We at the Kresge Foundation have admired and participated in this long-term project since its inception. At the turn of this century, it was apparent that the downtown riverfront that once served Detroit's commercial boom was serving almost no one. Despite a few notable exceptions, the city's expansive front porch was defined by empty warehouses and parking lots. Beyond a few pockets of beauty, it was uninviting, unusual, and inaccessible. The inflection point came almost 17 years ago. That's when the Kresge Foundation made what was then the largest grant in our history to launch the Detroit Riverwalk. Our $50 million pledge invited GM to match our commitment and start in motion a fundraising effort to building out the Riverwalk east from General Motors Plaza toward Belle Isle. The newly formed Riverfront Conservancy took up the challenge with phenomenal skill and determination, first under Faye Nelson and now under Mark Wallace. It has consistently delivered on its promise and taken it further. The new Riverwalk has been beautiful and inviting from the outset. It was quickly embraced by Detroiters, by our entire metropolitan region, and by visitors far and wide. Kresge continued to admire the Conservancy's vision by joining with the Community Foundation of Southeast Michigan a decade later to support turning the DeQuinter Cut into the first leg of an extensive greenway system. Season by season, fans of the Detroit Riverwalk have eagerly watched the area grow, and the Conservancy remains on pace to not disappoint. Which brings us to today's remarkable step forward. The site where a massive Uniroyal factory produced tires until 1980 has now been cleared and remediated, permitting unbroken passage between links previously separated by a parcel too contaminated to walk on. The celebration of this final piece falling into place represents a glorious 3.5-mile-long testament to the region's ability to come together to create a civic commons that will define Detroit's waterfront for our children, grandchildren, and beyond. Our news these days includes plenty of wonders from the heavens. In recent weeks, we watched the SpaceX team dock with the International Space Station and remote air flight on Mars, but there is plenty to inspire awe and ground our sense of shared vision as close as the magnificent stretch of river that we Detroiters now can share and enjoy. If we ever lose confidence in what we can achieve together, I recommend a 5.5 mile stroll along the magnificent Detroit Riverwalk. It is at once renewing, inspiring, and fun. Thank you, Rip, and thank you to the Kresge Foundation. That concludes our remarks for today. I'd like to ask all of our speakers to join me for the official groundbreaking with our hard hats and shovels. To those of you who are with us today, please move closer so you can get a better look. Thank you all for joining us on this special day. We look forward to welcoming you back next year when we celebrate the grand opening of this brand new stretch of Riverwalk that will link our parks and provide access to Belle Isle. Have a great remainder of the day. Now it's all time for what you've been waiting for, the ceremony of groundbreaker. Shovels and hard hats, libations and cigars. Everybody enjoy.
I wanna see you.